Hi, I'm here with Seth Thomas from the company Basho. So, Seth, thanks for joining me. Can I just ask you to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Seth Thomas, and I'm an operations engineer turned into a technical evangelist for Basho Technologies.
You work at Basho. Now, what exactly does Basho do?
So Basho makes two products, makes React and React CS. We usually are called a database company because we make React, but we're actually a distributed systems company. And we just happen to make a database, we happen to make a cloud storage product, but our real emphasis is on building distributed systems.
React is the main product of Basho. What exactly is React?
So React is awesome for a lot of reasons. The thing that I like most about it is that it's a data store that can stand up to a large amount of abuse and is highly available under severe strain, which is kind of the niche that we fill.
Yeah. Are there any specific use cases where React would be a good pick?
Anytime you have high volume data, whether it's reads or writes, and it's very, very fast, typically we see a lot of use cases in gaming. The makers of Angry Birds actually use React to serve as the backend for their services. Lots of healthcare companies like to use it because, again, the availability is kind of a key story for us. But those are two pretty big ones for us.
Most big data success stories, they feature a developer. But you're an operations guy, so what's the importance of having an operations engineer in your opinion?
So for me, a lot of the databases and kind of NoSQL folks focus on how oriented they are to the developer, and that's great. But a lot of people don't realize that somebody has to maintain that. So I feel that, especially as an operations engineer myself, it's good to focus on what makes their lives easier as opposed to just the developers. It's not to say we aren't developer friendly, but we strive to kind of balance it out so that the operations folks aren't constantly being slammed because of choices by development.
You are an operations guy, or you used to be an operations guy, but now you're actually an evangelist. So tell me something about that transition from operations to being an evangelist.
So that was actually a really interesting one. That's kind of what part of my talk is about, is how I went from being an operations engineer to a technical evangelist. It just turned out that I actually really liked React, and I really believed in what they were doing for operations people, and so it was just a natural evolution because it gets me excited because it makes my life easier, and so then I just started doing conferences and talking about it, and soon became a thing where I was not developing anymore, not doing any infrastructure, and they just decided to change my role.
Okay, so evangelist, that's kind of a cool thing to have on your business card, but what do you actually do as an evangelist?
So it's a lot of things. I still actually do develop and do infrastructure internally for a variety of projects. The big things that I do are kind of qualifying customers and clients. So a lot of sales calls, a lot of investigation calls. There's a lot of data modeling involved. There's a lot of helping people deal with infrastructure problems. Other than that, I do a lot of talks. I do I spend most of my time in Keynote now. Building slide decks, but that's kind of what it entails.
So you're actually the only speaker who traveled from overseas. Why did you decide to come over and speak at Damn Data?
So it's Thace's fault, actually. So I met Thace at a conference earlier this year in London about travel hacking, and he totally got me into travel hacking, and this turned into a situation where I can fly overseas very easily on points. And so when he said, hey, I'd love to have you come speak, and my company was like, oh, we've already sent you to Europe 4 times this year, we can't afford to do it anymore, I was like, oh, I'll go on my own, just because. And it's his fault for me being here.
You're from Austin, Texas, right? And I've heard that there's like a lot of really cool IT, web, techie things happening at the moment in Austin, Texas. What makes it so cool?
There are a lot of cool things about Austin. Austin has got a kind of a history as being a very musically friendly town, and that led to a lot of festivals, Austin City Limits, and then South by Southwest, which South by Southwest grew out of just being music to being film and media, and this kind of brought a lot of attention to Austin over the past decade. And it's also very cheap to have an office in Austin compared to, say, someplace like San Francisco. So we've seen a lot of companies moving out from places that are far more expensive to develop in to Austin, and so it's just kind of been it's been a snowball effect in the past decade since I've been there.
What is the single most exciting thing you're working on right now?
So the most exciting thing I'm working on right now is the conference that Basho throws. It's called Recon. It's happening in San Francisco on October 29th and 30th. And I'll be setting up for that, preparing for that, doing programs, all the various administrative tasks. And I'm really excited because this will be our third one, and it's always been a great conference.
How do you like Damn Data so far? Or what are you most looking forward to?
The things that I was most looking forward to are the Facebook talk, which just really getting insight into how Facebook runs at massive scale. And then the kind of, there's a talk about big data architectures and Lambda architectures, which I find really fascinating, and kind of using multiple solutions to, multiple different product solutions to come up with an actual view of your data.
Seth, thank you for talking to me. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much.